questions. Number one, 23:18. You shall not bring the wages of a harlot or the price of a dog to the house of the Lord your God for any vowed offering. For both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God. What does it mean, and what can we learn from here? Question 2. In chapter 24, verse 1, when a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, and he writes to her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house. What does it mean in the context, and how can we apply it to our lives? Last question, chapter 24, verse 21. When you gather the grapes over your vineyard, you shall not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. Explain what it means with an example. What can we learn from here? In the last time of Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 30, a man shall not take his father's wife, nor uncover his father's bed. A man's sexual relationship with his father's wife, incest, is prohibited. For example, Reuben's incest with Jacob's first wife in the light of Genesis 35, verse 22, and it happened when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Today we cover the Mosaic law to the Jews, but when Jesus yielded up his spirit on the cross, he tore down the veil in the temple that separated us from God in the light of Matthew 27, verses 50 and 51. And Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and yielded up his spirit. Then behold, the veil of the temple was torn from top to bottom, and the earth quaked, and the rocks were split. Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, 20, 21, and to the Jews I become as a Jew, that I might win Jews, to those who are under the law, and under the Lord, that I might with those who are under the law, to those who are without law or are not under the law, as without the law, not being without the law toward God, but under law toward Christ, that I might win those who are without law. So we are not under Mosaic law, but under law toward Christ. So in other words, under the Mosaic law toward Christ. Here, chapter 23, verse 1. He who is emasculated by cursing or mutilation shall not enter the assembly of the Lord. He who is emasculated, not able to produce children. Who is mutilated means castrated, shall not enter the assembly of the Lord. Verse 2, one of illegitimate, the child of out of marriage, shall not enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. After 10th generation, none of his descendants shall enter the assembly of the Lord. Amorite, Moabite shall not enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. That's a hot to Jewish people. None of the descendants shall enter the assembly of the Lord forever, because they did not meet the youth with bread and word on the Lord when you came out of Egypt, and because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. Verse 5, nevertheless, the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam, but the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loves you. Verse 5 here, explanation. Even if Balaam was bribed by Balak to curse the Israelites, Balaam listened to God and blessed the Israelites for a while. But Balaam later disobeyed God, stumbling Israelites to worship Baal the idol at the Puero. Then is here cross reference right there. Verse 6, you shall not see their peace, nor their prosperity all your days forever. You shall not abhor an Edomite. Another one, you shall not hate the Edomite. Edomite is for his your brother. So that is the brother of Jacob. You shall not abhor the Egyptian, because you were an alien in his land. The children of the third generation born to them may enter the assembly of the Lord. When the army goes out against your enemies, then keep yourself from every wicked thing. So don't involve wicked things. If there is any man among you who becomes unclean by some occurrence in the night, then he shall go outside the temple. He shall not come inside the temple, because the temple is clean. But it shall be when evening comes that he shall wash with water, and when the sun sets, he may come into the temple. Also, you shall have a place outside of the camp where you may go out, and you shall have an employment among your equipment. And when you sit down outside, you shall eat with it, and turn and cover it. You will do. So, pool casing, you should cover it with soil. For the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and give you enemies over to you. Therefore, your camp shall be holy, that he may be no unclean thing among you, and turn away from you. You shall not give back to his master, the slave who had escaped from his master to you. He may dwell with you in your midst, in the place which he chooses within one of your gates, where it seems best to him. You shall not oppress him. Then shall be no ritual harlots of the daughters of Israel, or a perverted one of the sons of Israel. So, no, male prostitute or prostitute female. Verse 18. You shall not bring the wages of a harlot or the price of a dog to the house of the Lord your God for any vow offering, for both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God. Then the worships of some idols involved the prostitution practice. For example, Balaam's counsel called the Israelites to commit harlotry or prostitution with the women of Moab in the Baal worship at Peora. God wants marriage to be clean or holy for the purpose of godly offspring. So we as parents should bring up children in the training and admonition of the Lord. So God prohibited the offering and with prostitution or harlotry practice. Here is a dog means unclean or unholy male prostitute in the context, such as not to give what is holy to the dog, unclean, unholy, or unwanting people. Here, verse 19, you shall not charge interest of your brother interest on money or food or anything that is lent out at interest. To a foreign, okay, you may charge interest, but to your brother you shall not charge interest, that the Lord your God may bless you in all to which you said you have in the land which you are entering to possess. When you make a vow to the Lord your God, you shall not delay to pay, for the Lord your God would surely require it of you, and it would be sin to you. But if you abstain from vowing, it shall not be sin. So vowing is the volunteer willing. That which has gone from your lips, you shall keep and perform. For you voluntarily or willingly vowed to the Lord your God what you have promised with your mouth. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat your fill of grapes at your pleasure, but you shall not put any in your container. Verse 25, when you come into your neighbor's standing grain, you may pluck the head with your hand, but you shall not use sickle on your neighbor's standing grain. God's heart is on the needy or hungry people because God is merciful. So a needy or a hungry person may eat grapes to the vineyard, grains to grain field, or other fruits, not taking them out. Jesus' disciples took the grains accordingly, but the issue of Sabbath was raised to Jesus by Pharisees. That's just an example, right? Chapter 24. When a man takes a wife and marries her, and it happens that she finds no favor in his eyes because he found some uncleanness in her, he writes her a certificate of divorce or bill, puts it in her hands, and sends her out of his house. Question 2. Generally, God hates divorce, but rarely allowed it divorce because of uncleanness, such as a virginity issue or adultery during divorce, during marriage, adultery during marriage, allowed at uncleanness case with a certificate or a bill of divorce. Also in verse 4, the divorce was a final and irreversible. Jesus said in general, what God has joined together, let not man separate, except sexual immorality. Divorced person is discouraged to remarry in verse 4 and by Jesus too. Note that the key of marriage is agape love, the fruit of the Spirit only. Among Christians, all cross references right there among Christians. Then is verse 2. When she had departed from his house and goes and become another man's wife, if the latter, the second husband, detests her and writes to her certificate divorce, put it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter, second husband, dies who took her as his wife, then her former husband who divorced her must not take her back to his wife after she has been defiled. So there is an abomination to the Lord, and you shall not bring sin on the Lord, which the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. The divorced person is dispatched to remarry the former husband. That's the first read Jeremiah chapter 1. Verse 5. When a man had taken you wife, he shall not go out to work or be charged with any business. He shall be free at home 1 year and bring happiness to his wife whom he had taken. A married person was to remain at home 1 year for happiness, protecting one flesh over the couple from possible separation or divorce due to the hardness of the heart. This is practical. Even a man who is betrothed to a woman is recommended to return to his house for the happy marriage. So this one we can see, practically God's intention, practically protecting. Verse 6, no man shall take the glory of upper millstone in pride, for he takes the one to live in pride. Millstone is important because God is the shadow of the land. If a man is found kidnapping any of his brethren of the children of Israel and mistreat him and sell him, then the kidnapper shall die, and you shall put away the evil from among you. Verse 8, take heed in an outbreak of leprosy. Today healable, but that time not healable. That you carefully observe it and do according to all God's priests. The priest a lot of requirements. The Levites shall teach you just as I commanded them, so you shall be careful to do. Verse 9, remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam on the way when you came out of Egypt. When you land your brother anything, you shall not go into the house to get the flesh. You shall stand outside. The man to whom you land shall bring the flesh out to you. So placing the security to Babylon or something. Verse 12, and if the man is poor, you shall not keep his flesh overnight. You shall in any case return the flesh to him. Again, when the sun goes down, and he may sleep in his garment and bless you, and it shall be righteousness to you, people, the Lord your God. Verse 12, God's heart is on the poor or the needy people. Love them as yourself. So return the flesh, which is a natural thing, such as only one garment or only one blanket to the poor or the needy. So you may willingly do so for the satisfaction of the need by the Spirit. Verse 14. You shall not oppress or hire the person who is poor and needy, whether one of your brethren or one of your aliens, who is your land within your gate. Each day you shall give him his wages, timely giving wages, and not let the son his poor have his heart on it, lest he cry out against you to the Lord, if he sin to you. Verse 16, fathers shall not be put to the death for their children, nor shall children be put to death for their fathers. The person shall be put to death for his own sin. Each person is guilty over own sin, not succeeded to others, either father or child. Although the idolatrous sin, idol worship in the household affect to the residing generation, third and the fourth generation. For example, pagan religion in a home affected all the living people in the home, then up to fourth generation or children. 17. You shall not pervert justice due to stranger or the fatherless, nor take a widow's garment as a pledge. But you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. Therefore I command you to do these things. 19. When you reap your harvest in your field, and forget a shaft in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hand. When you beat your olive tree, you shall not go over the boughs again. You shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, you shall not glean it. Afterward it shall be for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow. 21 question 3. How God's heart is on the stranger, fatherless, the widow, or the least. Don't take out all of your harvest in the field, but leave some left over for their gleaning. For example, Ruth the widow gathered the leftover or gleaned the head of grain in Boaz's field, becoming the woman Jesus' lineage. Then last verse here, and you shall remember that you were slave in the land of Egypt, therefore I command you. So we covered those three questions. Continue to keep on prayer. All mission prayer passed right there. So may God bless you, everybody.